welcome to the Lashes and Sashes podcast. I'm here today with the very special Georgina Paez. She is a former World Imperial Beauties queen and a future University of Miami Cane. And I am so excited to have her on today. Yes, represent.
All about the U.
So very excited, and also excited to just kind of share how we tie in UM and pageantry all together. So Georgina, thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Absolutely.
I'm super excited.
Oh, yay. So, okay, I have to ask, this is mainly what I ask to all my guests. When did you first start doing pageants, and how did it even come about?
I remember back in 2017, so, oh my gosh, 6 years ago, I used to be a dancer. I was on a competition team for about a year.
Okay.
And I was at that same studio for a very long time. So flash forward to July, I had my nationals, my group won, all good, and then I had started having back pain a lot. And then a couple weeks after that, I found out from a spinal surgeon after going to hundreds of doctors. They all told me it was scoliosis. They told me they didn't know what it was. It was just like muscle pain, to just take a Tylenol. And then turns out it was a condition called high-grade spondylolisthesis, which is when the last vertebrae of your spine slips out and hangs by a nerve in your leg. So basically your spine looks like a dog's, not inside of my leg, but it was basically my spine looked like a dog's tail. So I literally had to have surgery in weeks, or else I would have had the risk of being paralyzed.
Wow.
So now going into August, I had my surgery, and then I thought my doctor was like, "Oh, I'll see you in 3 months," and I'm like, "Okay, great, I'll be just ready in time for the competition season and whatever." And then he told me, "You have to wait a year to actually start dancing again." So it put me into a very dark headspace, and my mental health was really bad at the time. So my mom was like, "Why don't you try modeling?" And I'm like, "Okay." So I actually go see Damaris from Dama to the modeling school, and she's like, "Have you ever done pageants?" And I'm like, "No."
Really?
Yes. She's basically the one that got me introduced to the pageant industry. So I signed up for USA National Miss South Florida, and I win for my first time, and I'm like, "Wow, I did something."
Oh my gosh. Your first ever pageant, and UNM is not an easy, even at a South Florida level, and South Florida pageants are no joke either. And do you think it was your dance background? Do you think it was because of the modeling practice you had?
I didn't have modeling practice. I went in knowing nothing. So it was I literally clearly remember getting my dress from Amazon, and I didn't even know what fun fashion was. I got a little dress and a jacket with those puff balls that you have in a keychain. They were on a zipper, and I just used that as a prop for fun fashion. I was like, okay, I guess this will do. So I just stuck with it, and I kind of had not trying to flex a little bit, but I kind of had a clean sweep because my mom signed me up for optionals. I won, and so that's how I got started.
So your first pageant was UNM in 2017.
UNM South Florida at the Dama Fashion Show. So I went to UNM Florida. I got Suncoast Preteen, which I was honestly very shocked by. It was the two titles, the Florida title and then the first runner-up title that still got the chance to go to nationals.
Amazing.
So I ended up going to nationals. I got top 15, and I was surprised. I was like, what? So then after that, I was under contract, so I couldn't compete in any other pageant, or else I would have lost my Suncoast title.
Wow.
In 2019 is when I did, I think I met you at the 2018 show, because I did no, I'm so confused. Hold up. I remember Suncoast being under contract, but I think for some specific pageants, it was not included in that I think as long as that other title didn't have a contract. Yeah. So I think after that I did Model for Miracles, because I think that was June or that was, I think, July-ish or August
Yes,
of
that's around the
18.
June, July time. That makes sense.
And then, yeah, I won Miss Miracle, and
Mm-hmm.
I ended up at UNM Florida in 2019.
And then when did you
World
do?
Imperial
Yes.
was after that. World
Okay.
Imperial, I got the Florida Junior Team title. At that time, they did not have a contract for the State Queens.
Okay.
So we did NAM, and
Yes.
I actually got, funny enough, I got 8th out of like 99 girls, I think.
Amazing.
People literally they told my mom, they're like, they're gonna eat her alive at NAM. Because NAM is such a big system and it's a renowned
Yes. And
system
I
in the
remember actually,
pageant
I think
world.
that's when we got closer because we were talking about
Because
NAM
I used the
and you were
Model for
curious about
Miracles
it.
win
Yeah.
for,
And that was my pageant.
and
Oh,
then,
that's right. That's right. Okay. So shameless plug, just in case we ever bring up Miss Miracle again. When you won Miss Miracle, you won free entries to several state pageants because we had amazing pageant sponsors like National American Miss Florida, World Imperial Beauties, and then you had the opportunity to compete in both of those with the entry fees covered. So in case we ever do it again, I don't know if we will because it was postponed from COVID and my mom and I have to plan all those things out. But I'm just bringing it out to the ether. If it returns, these are the types of things that can happen, just like Georgina. So,
and
yes.
then after that, my mom, like my coach Dialene and I were talking about it, and you're like, we'll see how NAM goes, and if it goes great, if I win, we go to their nationals.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened was one casual wear. So that means that I meant I got a golden ticket to go to nationals.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
We were this close to going if we didn't, because we had no idea what World Imperial was like gonna be. So let's see how Imperial goes first, and then we'll see like how we go about this.
Yeah.
We go to Imperial, and then I win. So this was my first international title, my first national title ever. Like this was my first more than a state win. And then after that, unfortunately, COVID happened. So I was a COVID queen.
Oh.
Which, yeah, it was sad. At least I kept the title for 2 years.
Oh, yeah, that's so, because you mentioned before, and I know we've talked about it in the past with your dance background, you had to take 1 year off. Is it because you had to take 1 year off? Like, did you see yourself ever going back to dance, even though you had to go through that break period? Or did you love pageants so much more? You're like, okay, bye, dance.
It was a very hard, and like some things like a lot of people do not know was that I did try and start dancing again. My mom on my 13th birthday surprised me with saying like, hey, I had 3 solos ready. I was practicing them. And then one day I went in for like conditioning and to practice my solo. A blood sac formed next to my scar. It was like my scars here, the blood sac, like blood accumulated in that one spot. And basically that part of my back had swelling and pain. So I think my mom and my doctor my doctor was like, Dr. George, love you. He told me, he's like, you're going to he said, would you rather put yourself at risk for another surgery and another injury, or would you continue pageants, but you're doing really good at already? And I'm like, I think the best decision to make at this point is to retire from dance completely and focus on pageants, which honestly, it was a hard decision, but I understood why.
Absolutely.
And I already said goodbye to that dance chapter back in 2017 when I had my surgery. Right.
And how long were you in that dance studio?
I was in that dance studio for not 10 years because I was 2 when I went in.
2?
I was 2 and I...
Could you walk? Like...
Kind of.
Yeah.
I went in when I was 2 and I had to leave. Like, I was going to stay at the studio forever. And then I think I left in like either 14, 15 because we found another studio, which was the team I was actually a part of right after that. Because after I left this team, the one I was on at July of 2017, I joined another team. And they were very kind to me. Like, they were very understanding. I was still on the team despite my surgery. But then I was like, I had to leave because I can't dance ever again. Competitively, like, that's not even an option.
Yeah, and if you don't mind
So
me
yeah.
asking, then how how did this rare condition with your back happen? Was it through dance? Was it something random that is a very rare condition that just a few people have? Or, because I mean, I never even heard of it. I still can't say the name. It was like spina something.
Spondylolisthesis. It was
Yes.
hard for
Yes.
me to say at first, but it was through dance. I guess what I'm assuming is that since I was doing it wrong and they never corrected me, that's how the condition started.
They never noticed your form. Yeah, I
I'm
could
assuming they
totally.
never noticed my form because it
Mhm.
was just a huge situation, and then it was just best for me to leave.
Did you have to end up going to see like a chiropractor or a physical therapist or something to also like fix that? Or, even now to this day, do you still have to work on your back stuff? Because even wearing high heels in a pageant, it hurts my back.
I actually, throughout the time I was in pageants in 18 and 19, I was in physical therapy like every week. So
Wow.
while practicing with Dilene, who I love, my coach,
Hmm.
and I was working with all different coaches in the pageant industry, I was in physical therapy. So like as soon as I would get out of school, I would come home. I would come home, get ready for physical therapy, go to physical therapy, go home and practice with Dilene. So it was very like a set schedule. Like to get ready for nationals, especially, I had to like put my physicality on the line pretty much because I
Hmm.
was practicing every day in heels, and
Yeah.
I loved it. I really did love it. It's just the physical therapy hurt a lot, and especially being so
Mm.
fresh off of a surgery. Like when I went to UNM nationals, I wasn't even a year off of my surgery.
Wow.
It was July of 18,
Yeah,
and
that's right. And you still
my
need a year to recover.
yeah.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yep, like throughout my recovery, and also like even after I had my surgery, I was going through really rough times. Like there was Hurricane Irma, and like then it
Mhm.
became. It wasn't really like a struggle. It was actually just something that like, I guess distract me while I was recovering and really motivate me,
Yeah.
which I see as that was in pageants. So,
Hmm.
like truly, when I say that pageants saved my life, they did.
Oh.
They truly did.
That's wonderful to hear. And I think like my whole goal with Lashes and Sashes is to show people that like there is good in pageantry. I think people in the media and whatever see all this negative, toxic thoughts of it, or they think it's anti-feminist or whatever. But even seeing you and how it's changed your life, and what do you think are the key takeaways and benefits that you've gained through pageantry?
Definitely my character changed. I changed as a person. I changed mentally in the sense
Hmm.
of my mental health from one like a downward spiral to like really healthy because
Mm.
pageants in a way are very healing. And even like the competitiveness, the adrenaline you have, like when you're backstage getting ready for like the next section of the pageant, whether it's fun fashion, evening gown, and especially like national pageants, it's
Yes.
like it gives you a lot of adrenaline and it really makes you focus on like, oh my gosh, I'm here, rather than,
Mhm.
oh, I'm totally healing from a spinal surgery that I had not even a year ago.
True.
And it's really distracting in that sense. So that's why I say distracting.
Like
And then
distracting in a good way, like an escape.
exactly.
Yeah.
And really, it just changed me as a human. It made me see more perspective. It made me see that there are people going through things and that you can make a difference. Whether pageant title, not pageant title, you can still like do something with the world. And even if it's like the smallest impact, like you can make that difference. And I remember when I started pageantry, like I see all these seasoned vets and I'm like, I'm scared. And then this is when I was like really little. I was 11. I was freshly 11. I had just turned 11
Yeah.
in May. Yeah. And then I like see myself now and I'm like, wow, look at everything I've done.
Mhm.
And I'm very excited to see what's
And I
going to
mean,
come, especially with college.
Yes. But I think going back to in your pageant journey, because I mean, again, I've done pageants for 21 years. So for me to see you started out as a preteen and then blossom, junior teen, but even in that time, all the amazing things that you've been able to do, what were some of the highlights that you did in terms of the impact or the service that you did?
Wow, that's like, I'm like thinking about it. I remember like picturesque. I
Hmm.
remember back in 2018 when I had my Suncoast title, I'd always go to the Ronald McDonald House to bring breakfast. My mom and I would wake up mad early. Like, I would have like my friend with me, and like we'd go to the Ronald McDonald House and bring them breakfast. And I remember this little girl with cancer. I still wonder to this day like, how she's doing. And she just tells me how much she likes JoJo Siwa. And at the time, I remember loving Dance Moms, which I still
Hmm.
do, like Dance Moms, and I remember JoJo, and I like really did like JoJo. And then we just talked about that and like getting to grow that like, connection of her and talking to her, and like I can see I made her day. So
Mm.
I have like a plethora of JoJo Siwa bows, and I'm like, listen, I'm gonna send these to you. And she's like, you don't have.
Oh.
This was like I had like 20 of them, and yeah, I sent them to her.
That's so sweet.
And like I remember those was like accumulated over the years, and like there was like some like limited edition ones in there. I had a
Thank
ton of JoJo Siwa bows, so I was like,
Mhm.
you know what? Let me like do something good. Because for one, I don't need these anymore, so I want to give them to someone who truly deserves them. So I gave
Yeah.
them to her.
Wow. And it's so nice because I think people in pageants don't realize even like how old were you when you were volunteering at Ronald McDonald?
I was 11, and then I was 13 when I went to Honduras with World Imperial.
Yeah, like doing all those impactful charity work at such a young age, I feel like you don't really get those kind of opportunities, or they're not at least presented to you unless you're in the pageant space. It's not like
Yep.
nonprofits are out there telling 11-year-olds to go volunteer at Ronald McDonald's, or even anyone telling you to go give your JoJo Siwa bows to one of the girls there. That is so sweet. And I mean, I'm just so proud of you talking about your
Aw.
story. I'm like, gosh, you have really blossomed and I've just seen you grow before my very eyes. But aside from charities, I also want to talk about your other highlights, like hello, all your modeling ventures that you've been able to do. You've been on
Mm-hmm.
billboards, New York Fashion Week, runways. Like, can you tell us more about that?
For sure. That was honestly other like pageant like other things that came from pageants. That was my favorite part. Going to New York, I remember at one point I went to I think it was 18. My first fashion week ever. I was so excited. It was
Mm-hmm.
really fun. And then that's when I went with Baron. And then in 18, in September in the fall season, is when I was like modeling with, I think I was modeling with SU at the time for New York Fashion Week.
Okay.
And I modeled for you guys there.
Yes,
So
yes.
that was a
Our final
highlight.
walk. Yes.
My forever highlight moment is dressing up as the Statue of Liberty, and like
Ah!
I was in my zone, but I see
Mhm.
all these people freaking out over this outfit. So then I remember like doing my walk and then like turning around and like walking with you. Like it was such an honor. And then being in New York, like I remember one time I stayed in New York for like a week, which was so much
Mhm.
fun. We were in like the hotel, the Marriott in Times Square.
Okay.
So easy access for me and my mom to shop.
Mhm.
And every time I go, like I was even in New York recently, and I was like, okay, I need to do my tradition with my mom and go to Sephora. So we
Oh.
went, about some couple of stuff, and it was so much. It reminded me so much of like pageants and when I did them, and when I
Mm.
would model in Fashion Week and have all these billboards, and I'm like, I'm famous.
Yeah. Oh no, it's super cool. And the fact that again, you got to have all those opportunities, you got to have that experience. Like, I mean, for me as a kid, I never would have imagined, and I still have yet to be on any sort of billboard, but I don't know if little girl you, did you know that you wanted to pursue modeling at a younger age?
Not at all. I remember in
Wow.
2017, I participated in iPop through I Am a Star, which is like this acting program. I
I've
don't know
done
if it's still
iPop
going on
before,
now.
actually.
Stop! No
Yeah,
way!
I literally did iPop. Gosh, I think I was in 6th or 7th grade. So I was 12, 17 years ago. It was in Las Vegas at the time. I know. Crazy. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so
What?
anyways, a new bonding thing that you and I have.
Yes.
Let's add it to the list. Pageants, iPop. Okay, so tell me more about your iPop experience.
Okay, so I went through I'm a Star, and we had this like showcase back in, let's say, December or
Okay.
November.
Uh-huh.
And what happened was that this one guy, Randy from iPop, who I will appreciate forever, basically called my mom later that day and was like, "You're going to LA." And I'm like, someone came up to me. We're all having lunch in the restaurant, like me and my friends that I made there, who I'm
Mhm.
still friends with to this day.
Aw.
Some of them actually. And they tell me, they run to me, they're like, "Georgina, your mom's on the phone with Randy." And I'm like, "What?" And
Okay.
I was like, "No way, you're lying." So everyone runs to my mom, and we're just listening to her on the phone, and we're very excited. And I'm just like, "I'm gonna be famous." And then we went to iPop, which was such a fun experience.
Mm-hmm.
I met the owner of iPop. I met everyone. And I think I met like David Henry from Wizards of Waverly Place.
Oh, cool.
So we were just there, and then we did this acting workshop. Then I did a fashion show, which I modeled my own clothes, but it was
Amazing.
still a fun thing to do. But basically, I went to all these agencies, like the last couple of days when you were signing up with agencies, like they think that called you back. So then, throughout that, I somehow ended up in a horror short film
What?
that is on.
Virginia, you never shared this. What? How did this happen?
This was in 17. We were filming throughout like early 27, or I think we were filming in 16 or
Oh
17.
my
I don't remember. We were filming early 17. It came out end of 17, and it was called Stillborn, a film by Michael Leon, who love you.
God.
I remember like being 10 and filming this, and it was a literal set. I was going there like almost like whenever they needed me, I would go. And
What?
it was so much fun. And then being able like to flash forward to December 2017, see it premiere, it was like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, what has my life come to? And during my pageant era, I actually participated in another short film with Derek Johnson called Clean Up on Aisle 9. And I was
Mm-hmm.
a little girl scared in the grocery store. I showed up for a second, but we're all good.
Okay.
Um, I ended up like, for him, he had another move. I think he was planning another short film or another like actual movie called Bow No Way Out.
Mm-hmm.
I was the lead. I was supposed to be the lead, and I
What?
think because of COVID, we were supposed to start filming in 2019. It got delayed. In 2020,
Mm.
it got delayed because of COVID.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the update on that is.
Wow. Okay, so well, that's what I was going to ask you too, because your last pageant was when you were a junior teen.
Teen actually, World Imperial
Okay.
2022.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so teen, but 2 years ago. And so I guess in between, you've been doing a few pageants here and there, but you've been also dabbling into more of the acting thing.
No, I mean I haven't really done acting since 2018. And I've
Okay.
kind of stepped aside from that because I was like, going to focus on pageants. And I also
Mm-hmm.
was focusing more on the competition team at the time, too. And
Mm.
pageants as well in 2018 when I was in Cleanup at All 9. So I do that. And then flash forward to 2022, my mom and I were like, why don't we compete in Imperial again? And then I pretty much compete. I get second runner up. I was really excited for World Imperial in 2022, and I'm honestly really excited about the outcome too, because I was just
Mm-hmm.
starting public school. So
Yeah.
that and like a pageant commitment, I don't know how
Mm.
I would manage time.
Got it. Well, that's what I was thinking too. I felt like over these last few years, you really dedicated your time to your extracurricular activities in school, your leadership events and things. And I mean, now you're going to UM, so I would hope and think that it, paid off. But I'd love to hear from you kind of your academic journey. You don't have to go through your whole thing if you don't want to, but at least kind of that transition into when you went to your public school and things.
So I went to public school. This is for context. I went to public school for majority of my life, from like
Okay.
2 up until ninth grade.
Okay.
10th grade and 8th grade, I was homeschooled because of bullying. And
Got it.
then my mom and I were talking. I was talking to my mom about it, like in between that time. I'm like, why don't I go to South Broward, a high school
Mm-hmm.
that's like 10 minutes away, not even, and
Mm-hmm.
it's the best rated school in Broward County. And
Okay.
she's very against like public school in her way. She has her ways, which
A
I'm
lot
totally
of
fine
people
with.
in
Like,
Miami-Dade County are.
and then I got it. I got in my junior year. I was very desperate to make friends, and then
Understood.
I blossomed into my senior year. Like
Mm.
junior year, I was already doing great things. I was in SGA, I was in DECA, was in all these clubs. And then senior year comes around, and I was actually the historian of the fashion club in my junior year.
Mm-hmm.
And then they ended up not doing it my senior year. My senior year, I was president of the broadcast club. I started at the club again after 20 years of it being dormant. I
Mm.
was I was in SGA. I was I was doing the announcements every day for school. Like almost every day I was there. Whenever I wasn't there, I would be there the next day and the next day after that. To the
Wow.
point like me and my principal were besties. Like, and everyone kind of like put me down for that, and like to the point where when they did senior superlatives, they put me down for that too because I got principal's pet. And I
Mm-hmm.
won by a long shot. And some people did that for like, great reasons. Some people did that for not so good reasons. But either
Mm.
way, I got what I wanted.
Yeah.
And graduation happened. Graduation came around, and it was like such a full circle moment because like look at how I just started off junior year, and here I am speaking at graduation,
Yeah, that's what I
introducing
was
my
gonna say.
principal.
Your speech was amazing. I was like,
Thank
oh my
you.
gosh. And again, I think it's so beautiful because you went into an entirely new school. You just put yourself out there. That's such a brave thing to do, especially in high school, and you are going to get criticism, and you are going to get, people that are going to try to put you down for climbing up, especially like as a new student. I feel like you're even in a more vulnerable position. So like,
Yeah.
gosh, I'm really like impressed by you.
Thank you. And then I remember like going through the college applications, and I'm like, okay, where do I apply? I don't know how I ever ended up applying at Long Island University, but I got in somehow.
Mhm.
And then I got applied to NJCU, New Jersey City, got in
Mhm.
there. I applied
Okay.
to FAU, got in. FIU, got in. And then the UM was the one I was waiting for. I got
Mhm.
deferred early decision one, which is the binding
Mhm.
one. And then I'm like, let me do FAU just so I don't put myself at risk for
Fair.
the contract.
Mhm.
So if I don't have a decision that day, I already have somewhere I'm going to.
Exactly.
Like if I end up getting waitlisted, that's the whole thing.
Mhm.
March comes around, and I literally was like asleep all day. I wake up, this was like at what, 9? I wake up, I check Instagram on my computer because my phone died. And it says
Mhm.
early, like, regular decision applicants, the wait is over. And I'm like, what? So I go into my application portal. I'm like so scared to open my, I don't know. My mom's like, it's a good day. Open it. I open it and it says congrats. As soon as I see anything that does not say thank you for your application, I was ecstatic. I was crying. So
Mhm.
I got in for spring 2025, and I'm very excited to go. Like I already know a couple
Oh.
people who already go there. I like
Mhm.
met a group of friends that came day, and we have this group chat. So when we all come back in the fall, we all can like hang out and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm very very excited.
Actually, even going back to your high school thing, it reminds me of like the younger me when I also was like running for president and doing all these other things too. Because your presidential campaign, you did like a Mean Girls inspo on
Yep.
TikTok. I was like, this is marketing genius. I loved it. And like you just I'm so impressed by you again, just putting yourself out there, doing what you need to do. And like you have these goals and you do whatever it takes to reach them. And I don't know if it's a testament to pageantry or just a testament to you, but like really just bravo.
Thank you. And pageants is truly something that I am pursuing in the future. Like, don't think that World Imperial 2022 is my last one. I'm not done.
Yay! Okay,
I
perfect. I
am
was like
not done. You
hoping.
will see me. You will see me on that stage again. I am not quitting pageantry at all.
What systems do you have in mind, if I can ask?
Of course. My top choice as of
Mm-hmm.
right now is National American Miss.
Ooh! Oh, this is amazing. I did NAM my for freshman year of UM too. So it's like crazy that like so many like
I'm planning for once I get settled in college, once I like head back to Miami,
yeah,
I am for sure planning on NAM like probably
amazing.
2026. Either
Amazing. It's
2025 or 2026 for Florida.
such a good system. I mean, how was your experience at NAM when you did it?
Amazing. I
Hmm.
loved it. I didn't have
Yeah.
to bring a million dresses. And now it's a lot easier because they have personal intro, evening gown, and interview. And
Hmm.
personal intro, you wear the same thing you're wearing for interview. So I only have to
That
bring
actually does
one
really.
outfit.
Hmm.
I have to bring one outfit, and they have to bring one gown. And then
Hmm.
obviously for like all the other events, you bring cute stuff. But for the pageant alone, I don't need to like bring 20 dresses for a week. It's a
Yeah.
weekend thing. And
Hmm.
I believe I would either be in teen or miss,
Okay.
which I would need to prepare myself because they're going to be asking a lot more mature questions. Even though it
Mm.
went great in World Imperial for teen division,
Yeah.
I did great. And then, yeah, I'm very excited. I really want to go back to NAM. I just want to settle myself first and make sure I'm good in college, make sure I'm
Mm-hmm.
acclimated and that I know what I'm doing just so I
Mm-hmm.
can like tell my professors like, hey, I'm doing this pageant on the weekend. Don't give me any tests.
Oh, they'll
So
totally understand. I mean, I did international pageants like my junior and senior year at UM, and I even like came back with crazy time differences and stuff. As long as you tell them 2 weeks in advance, and since you're going to be a UM student, I can at least give you two things. One, you can practice in the dance studios that they have at UM. They're actually, I don't know if they've already demolished the freshman dorms like Hecht and Stanford, but if they
they
still
did.
exist, darn. We used to practice our pageants in the Hecht so in these dorms there were classrooms and those classrooms were dance studios. So we would practice all the time because it was open to all freshmen that lived in those buildings. I would go in, visit my friends, and then we would practice in the dance room. And for interview, you can go to the Topple Career Center because they do practice interviews for your future jobs and stuff anyways. So you give them your pageant paperwork, you give them examples of difficult questions, just find them on ChatGPT or something. Tell them the time limit. You get like 1 minute round robin per person, and they can practice with you for like 30 minutes.
I love that. And at NAM too, they do round robin, which is my personal favorite style of interview because not
Mm.
you don't have that anxiety going in and you're talking to all four judges in a room. You're
Yeah.
going in with you're gonna talk to this one person and wing it. Talk to the next
Yeah.
person, wing it. Like Bessie Taylor Stewart just went in, no
That's
practice, and
right.
won.
Mm-hmm.
She
But I
literally
mean,
just won. I'm
for the
very happy
both
for
of you,
her.
like pageantry's in your DNA. You know what I mean? Like you don't need to like intensely, and that's what I like about NAM is like you can still be a regular girl, or like you and Taylor both. I think you're both super involved in your school, you're super involved in your community, and your pageant people at the same time. Like they appreciate that. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's
Yeah.
more down to earth, it's more endearing.
Absolutely. I adore World Imperial. I just want to give myself a taste of a different system when I
Oh yeah.
do go back.
Oh yeah, and I mean,
Like,
there's so many, and you again. The great thing about these pageants is there some of them like Nam has, I think, the age division till 24, but World Imperial,
yeah.
you've got Ms, you got Classic, you've got, you know what I mean. You have plenty of years to still be involved in that system and also explore other pageants. Like I'm an advocate
Oh,
for
for
all
sure.
pageants. There's so much value in each of them, so that's
Me
awesome.
too. I love pageants like and even after like the 24 age mark for most systems, I'm not quitting. I'm still getting involved. I
As you
don't know
should,
if I
dude.
possibly like I don't know what pageants do go, like bigger pageants go until Ms. I know World Imperial, I think in Ultimate International Miss, I think. I don't
I
know.
mean, honestly, by the time you turn into that age of Ms., there's going to be more pageant systems out there. Like UNM
Mm-hmm.
didn't exist when I was a preteen. to put things into perspective. I know, crazy, right? Like I am actually kind of old.
You're not old.
But it is crazy for me to see like, oh wow, you know, how many pageants have happened. And even World Imperial didn't exist when I started in pageants as well, and not long until afterwards when I think lived in Miami that they really started coming up and that they're growing. So what's great is there's a lot of people that make pageant systems. But okay, before I forget, I have to tell everyone that your essay in getting into in the first place was about your pageant journey.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I had a little bit of help on that, man.
That's the only reason why I know. And I do love essays. But I mean, it's again, it is such a beautiful story. As you said, you know, pageants saved your life. And it didn't just save your life, but you're also changing the lives of so many others. And you're just going to be such a great value to as a school. And I can't wait to see if you did all this stuff in your high school. Again, if you need any club recommendations or student orgs that you need to be involved in, whatever, just let me know. And plus, I'm not too far away from so we can always chat and catch up, and I can pick you up if you need. Are you still not allowed to have cars your freshman year, or are you okay?
Nope, you are not allowed.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so if you need a ride, then I can help you with that.
Yay!
Yeah.
Love that.
When I went to we didn't even have Ubers. And so we would use the Metro Rail and I think like the Hurricane shuttles, so the buses to take us. And it would take us 2 hours to go to Publix. It was ridiculous. Yeah.
Just because you could literally get them in 5 minutes.
Yeah. So that's what finally convinced me to learn how to drive.
I'm so excited.
What are you studying at UM?
I'm actually studying media management. So that's more of like the businessy side of the media, which I was looking into like the different programs there. And I'm like, I feel like that fits me the best because now I want a minor in business. I want a double major in PR and media management.
Okay.
And just go with it. I mean, I want it in the future. I want to open up a business and be able to do that and be able to succeed in that. So, yeah, and then hopefully do marketing or work for a pageant or something.
Yeah.
And I definitely want to still be involved. I definitely want to still be involved even after I hit that like age limit. And once I feel like it's my time to step away and let the new generation come in. And either way, like I can still compete, but when I do feel like it's my time to stop competing, I will. But I'll still be involved.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, for me, I don't even know if I could stop competing because I still compete.
I think once I get to, we love it.
And exactly. I love it. And then I watch it in the audience and I'm like, oh, if I was on that stage and I got to have that experience. I don't know. It's hard. And don't worry about the age limit. Cause like I said, I'm 29 and there's still plenty of pageants out there. My mom literally still can compete if she wants to. Your mom should totally compete. Just as a side note, she's gorgeous,
I was literally
well-spoken.
Talking to her about it this past weekend. I'm like, you need to compete. And she's like, I'm good at seeing you compete.
Oh, one day.
She loves being one day, eventually.
Yeah. Or maybe if you guys go to like a mother-daughter pageant and you do it together, and then it's less like
World Imperial
in competing. Yeah, just dropping little ideas in there.
Love that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I remember back in 2019, she was a judge for Honduras World Imperial, and I'm like, look at you now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was her, the mom of another queen, and like some guy that was there. I guess he's in Honduras. But oh my gosh, that was so fun.
Yeah, and
that trip alone was so fun.
Yeah, so can you actually elaborate on the Honduras trip? Because I'm like, wow, Imperial really has like that international presence, and I love it.
They really do, especially now more than ever. Mm-hmm. Basically, we went to Honduras. We were actually going to go to Jamaica too to build a house for somebody, but we weren't able to because of COVID.
Got it.
But basically, we went to Honduras for 5 days, I think it was. I don't remember how many days, but we were there for a while. and it was so much fun. I was there with Skylar, my little miss. She's the cutest thing. Her mom and like my mom were like really like that's when we really connected, like with my sister queens. And then Brandy and Christine were also there. I think it was just us four. Yeah. We did a whole
Okay.
photo shoot at the resort we were staying at. We got sweets, and not just that's just the superficial part of it. The real
Mhm.
part of it was going to see the tribe in Honduras and seeing like these people and their livelihood and being able to just see that from like a pageant girl perspective.
Yeah.
And we brought them like goodie bags, we brought them so much stuff, and it truly warmed my heart because you can tell like they appreciated our presence.
Exactly. That gratitude that you see from other people when you help out, like truly, it just changes your whole mindset and outlook on life.
And also, like, I never really went to Honduras, so now
Mhm.
seeing that, it's just like amazing. And
Yeah.
also, side note, the food was so good.
Ooh, what was your favorite meal there?
I don't remember what we had there, but I do remember we went to this like one restaurant. I think I had like chicken or something, and it was to die for. So it was
Mm,
really fun.
okay.
That I had to say was like one of my main highlights. Like going to Honduras with World Imperial and like
Yeah,
internationally, that was my like, highlight. Like that was
that's
our
super
international
cool.
trip for the year.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's not a lot. I mean, maybe there's more systems now, but like again, as a kid, I didn't remember that like younger title holders in pageant systems would go internationally and do these types of trips. I think that is just awesome.
I had a blast. I loved it. And like even like the smaller trips we took with World Imperial, like those who decided to stay as queens. We went to Dollywood. We went to stay in a cabin in Tennessee.
How
That
fun.
was
Okay, Miss 2020 Queen, you had a good time. You
I
went
did have a
out.
good
You did the
time.
things.
We went
Yes.
out.
Yes.
No, it's
That
just like I remember like not I remember I did Fashion Week in February of 2020 and then COVID hit. I remember I did a fashion show for Diana,
mhm.
Project My Image, literally at the smack of COVID, like right when it was first starting. The show was delayed because everyone was like, "What do we do?" Now that like I think that was the day they called a national emergency.
Oh
That either it
no.
was I think it was that day or the day after that they called it, but that's when it was getting serious. So they
Oh
were
my
like,
god.
"What do we do?" And they're like, "Okay, guys, show is still going on." Because like, how are you gonna cancel it day of? You
We're all
know?
still here. Yeah, you can't do anything now. Like
And that's
that
also like cut them some slack. COVID wasn't real. Like COVID was a thing, but it wasn't a thing.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
wasn't like that detrimental
It
thing
wasn't quarantining
we
yet.
refer to. It wasn't quarantine, not at all.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I mean that was really fun. And then I believe like some part of why kind of like I mean we had my World Imperial title, but I feel like 2020 helped pageants change a lot. Like seeing how
Mhm.
they were back then and seeing how they are now, it's like a drastic change. And even Imperial, like I watched their live stream yesterday, seeing
Mhm.
how these girls from like now is really getting international. Because when
Mhm.
I competed, it was just Jamaica and
Mhm.
Cayman Islands. But
Mm.
now it's Great Britain, it's
Yeah, I
South
was gonna say
Africa,
one
it's
of the girls from
Philippines.
yeah, wow. Because one of the girls from Great Britain, I actually competed with her in India at an international pageant, and she's like, on my way, Team Great Britain off to Imperial Beauties. I was like, whoa, you just see those different
It's
worlds collide.
insane. I
Yeah.
think there's like I haven't seen the handbook from this year, but I there is a girl from the Philippines in teen, and
Oh.
I was like I'm so glad I'm not competing.
Oh no,
And
stop it. You still do amazing.
I was like I wanted to go, so it's this weekend, but it's like you know what, I'm really busy with college stuff. I
Yeah.
can't make it, but I will always have like love in my heart for Imperial, and like maybe next
Of
year
course. Mhm.
hopefully like a judge or like backstage.
Mhm.
Just I want to
Yeah,
like work there just for the experience, and also like
in
as a
some
former
way, shape,
queen,
or form. Yes, Patrina
some way,
would
shape, or
love to
form.
have you involved for sure. I have no doubt.
I love her. Always will
Yeah.
be great. I remember back in I have it here actually. Back in 2020, we went to the Beauty It's Everywhere 5th annual awards, and I got Junior Teen of the Year.
Wow.
Yup. I remember getting it and I was like, my brain stopped working. I'm like, no way did I win.
Oh,
I was
but
like,
I mean, you're such a great queen. Again, you're involved. You go out of your way in the community. You bring out positive pageantry. You see the benefits, not just in pageants and in your community, but beyond. So,
absolutely.
yeah, well deserved. No shock to me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was like going up against like there's so many deserving girls, and it's just like, what?
Hey,
So
you know what?
that was really the last, other than World Imperial 2022, that was like the last, I think, big thing I had in pageants before I turned in my title.
But I will say, even though you aren't competing, you're still very involved. Like, we can both talk about pageant stuff. And I think it's also like we have
for
friends
sure.
and stuff. So we're always like, oh my gosh, what's happening? What's the new thing in pageantry? So
I love it. I literally am like invested. Like my friend Maddie, who competed at Miss Florida Teen USA, love her. I'm like, what's going on here now? Like, we both love pageantry so much. And the thing is, we both came from the same background, kind of. We were both dancers. We both couldn't dance anymore. And then we both ended up in pageants.
Wow.
So, like, credit to her, because I love her for that. And she's doing
too, because she was at Nicholas Children's Hospital going out and like giving things and visiting the children. I'm like, she's doing Miss Universe level activities. You know what I mean?
Like,
and
I'm so proud of her.
Yeah, sometimes like you don't really need the national or state or international crown and banner to still do the amazing things that those same title holders get to do. And some of them still don't even get to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's a lot of national queens that still haven't had the chance to like go to a hospital, really interact with the kids, visit them, make an impact. Same with you at Ronald McDonald House. Like, you guys are doing the Miss Universe level stuff, whether you realize it or not.
Yeah, and now there's not a age limit for Miss Universe. Who knows?
Exactly. I'm trying to tell my mom that she should compete too with me. Maybe. We'll see.
You should compete.
We'll figure it out. I'm still, I went there. I was watching Maddie. I was watching all the girls and all my friends, and I'm like, oh, I don't know yet. We'll see. We'll see. I need more time. I get what you mean. You and I are kind of in that same, like, I will, but I don't know now. I'm at these different stages of my life, figuring it out.
Right now, my priority is my education, and especially in a school like UM. So being there, I want to get acclimated. I want to enjoy my college life, like, before I do any competing per se. So potentially 2026. I'll give it a year.
How exciting.
2026, you might see me on that stage again.
So before we wrap it up, is there anything else that you wanted to add or share in this before we put it out there?
All I gotta say is prepare for December 2nd. Something's coming.
December 2nd?
Something's coming. I don't want to say what it is yet, but something's coming.
Oh my gosh, because you've already done these modeling things, fashion shows, short films that I didn't even know about. I thought I was supposed to know everything about your life. Rude. And so, gosh, I can't wait to hear. But okay, well, thank you so much, Georgina, for being here.
Thank you.
On the Lashes and Sashes podcast. No, you're welcome. So, okay. I always do this little like ending thing, or I try to if I remember. So, signing off, she is former World Imperial Beauties Junior Teen, Georgina Paez.
Woo! Love that. Woo!